Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Daniel Akerman and I am your Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens Realtor. And what we're talking about today is the third quarter for the Brooklyn market. And we just had the best Q3 numbers in the last several years. We're gonna jump right on into it here real quick. Before we do, please make sure to stick around to the end for my Q4 recommendations. And please consider subscribing to the channel if you want timely real estate information. I'm going to be posting videos regularly with information for homeowners and home buyers in the Manhattan market, Brooklyn market, and Queens market. All right, so now let's jump right into these numbers for the Q3 of 2025 in Brooklyn. So the big headline is that Brooklyn just hit a brand new record for median price. Borough-wide across all property types, we hit a median of $1,050,000, which is an all-time record for Brooklyn. That's an increase of 7.7% over the third quarter of 2024, so it's a really healthy appreciation rate. Months of inventory stays low, it's still below 5 months, so it's still favoring sellers. Contract activity was up, number of listings was up substantially. So all together, the main takeaway is that the market for Brooklyn was quite strong and healthy in the third quarter of 2025. And as I said, the best third quarter that we've seen in several years. Getting a little more granular on the data, closed sales were 2,705, which was up 7% over the third quarter of last year. And listing inventory was up to 3,417, which was an increase of 16%. You're gonna hear some jets flying overhead. I'm recording this from the office and we're right near LaGuardia Airport. So we get the jets flying over us as they land. In any case, getting back to the report, months of supply. Months of supply is one of the key metrics because it really shows you both the supply and demand. It takes into account both aspects. So it really shows you how quickly the market is moving. So months of supply was down to 3.8 months, which is definitely seller leaning. A balanced market across New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan, a balanced market is typically considered 5 to 7 months of supply. Above 7 months would be a buyer's market and below 5 months would be a seller's market. So we're squarely in a seller's market when looking at Brooklyn as a whole. Now let's get specific about property types. We're gonna break this down into co-ops, condos, and townhomes, and maybe even a little further down into brownstones and things like that. So let's look at co-ops first. The median price for co-ops was up to $550,000, which was just a 1% increase over the third quarter of 2024. Average price is up to $770,000 and change, which is an increase of about 3.4%. Co-ops, this reflects what we were seeing in both the Manhattan markets and especially the Queens market. Co-op pricing is very stable. It doesn't go down a lot, at least not lately, but it also is not going up a lot. Okay, so very stable pricing. There were 573 closings in the third quarter, which is up about 2%, just a little under 2%. On average, co-ops spent about 59 days on market. So from the time they list until the time they go under contract, 59 days on average, which was 3% less than last year. So accelerating market a little bit there. Inventory, there were 740 units listed, which was 16% higher than the year before. And months of supply in co-op units is about 3.9 months, okay? Which has risen, okay? So that market, the days on market is going down, but the months of supply is going up. It's kind of an interesting mixed dynamic there. Average discount from the last asking price was about 1%. So once sellers priced correctly, they were getting 99% of their ask, all right? But that means that you have to list correctly to begin with. Now, co-ops have nudged toward more balanced conditions, but they're still leaning towards seller for well-priced and turnkey units that don't need a lot of work. Because there's more inventory, buyers are finding negotiation in the terms more so than on price. Now let's look at condos, all right? So the snapshot here, median price for condos was up almost 15%. That's huge. Median price for condos is up to $1,147,000 and change. Average price, $1.4 million, and that's up about 12%, almost 13% from last year. Closings, there were 884 of them, which was an increase of 14%. And the average discount to the last asking price is just 0.3%. So sellers, once they were priced correctly for the market, were getting 99.7% of their asking price. Again, though, you have to price correctly to get that. Inventory was down 3% year on year, and months of supply is down 15%. So prices went up almost 15%, and months supply went down about 15%. It's about 3.9 months of supply for condos. New development, a big sector of condo sales in Brooklyn. New development, we were 41% of all the condo closings. So a big substantial portion of the condo market. And that might account for the huge price increase because typically new development is gonna close at premium prices. So of all the inventory segments in Brooklyn, this is the tightest segment. You've got the fastest absorption, minimal discounting, and a big new development contribution that are lifting median prices, right? So very competitive market there. Let's take a look at townhouses now. So for the townhouses, and hopefully you're seeing some of these numbers on screen. I hope to have some of these numbers on screen for you. Also, quick aside, if you'd like the full report, make sure to check out my website. There's a link in the description below. You can link to the full report and actually download all the numbers as well. So it's a great way to get really, really into the weeds on the numbers here. Median price for townhomes was up 7.5% to almost 1.3 million, 1.265 million, and the average price was 1.6. So median and average often differ. Median is a better measure, okay, because it tells you what the center point is of the price range. Average can be skewed by high-end listings or low-end listings. But the average price was up 12% year on year. Closings were up 5% from the third quarter of 2024. We had 1,250 closings. Days on market was down almost 13% to 69 days. And the average discount to the last asking price was 6.2%. So a much bigger discount in the townhome market than either the co-ops or the condos. A lot of that may have to do with what we're seeing next. Inventory was up almost 37%. So it's hard to tell here what is the cause and effect. Inventory is up 37% year on year in the third quarter, up to 1,515. And months of supply is up almost 29%. Now, it's still pretty low at 3.6 months, but it's definitely trending towards a slower market. So it's still favoring sellers, but sellers should be careful with 6% listing discount from asking price. You've got to ask yourself if maybe you should be listing your property a little bit more reasonably, a little bit more conservatively in order to get more of your list price, get more offers in, spend less time on the market, and get off the market quickly so that you don't have to deal with competing listings coming on and stealing your buyers. If you stayed until the end, thank you so much. Please, if you find this information valuable, consider subscribing. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, hit the thumbs up twice. And if you have questions, make sure to put them in the comments and questions below. But now that we're at the end of the video, let's talk about what we might be seeing in Q4, the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, we should expect to see that condos are still the strongest segment and will be moving the quickest with the least amount of negotiability, all right? However, across all property types, we should not expect Q4 to reflect Q3 pricing because Q4 is always a quieter time in the New York City real estate market with lower prices and less activity. But it should be better compared to Q4 of the prior year. So if we look at 2024's numbers, we should be in better shape than we were then, at least if you're a seller. For the buyers, it's going to be a little bit more competitive market than it was a year ago. As I mentioned, seasonality plays big here. Thanksgiving all the way through the middle of February is a really, really slow time. Listing activity, contract activity drops way, way down. And therefore, if you are a seller looking to list at this time, you need to take that into account and make sure that you are listing and pricing accordingly. If you are a buyer looking during the holiday season, I'm very sorry. It's not a very fun thing to be doing, or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe you enjoy looking at all the houses and properties out there during the holiday season. But in any case, keep in mind that even though there will be less competition from other buyers and less listings out there, it's still trending towards a seller's market. So don't think that you own the market just because it's the holiday season. So thank you for watching the video. If you tell me your neighborhood in the comments below, I can actually provide you with a quick micro report. Make sure to visit the full report on my website, link in the description below, and you'll also be able to download all the stats there. If you'd like any information, you can always contact me. My contact information is below. Always looking for your comments and questions. Would love ideas on future videos or any questions that you may have about the buying or selling process. I'll turn it into a video if I don't already have it, and I'll definitely be happy to answer your comments in your comments and questions. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again here soon. Take care.